Hello, welcome to the stream about grammar and Python documentation. I see nobody's joined yet, so I'll just continue from last time. If you just stumbled upon this stream, it might be better to look at the previous iteration where we simplified choice containers or simplified choices in the grammar that started or ended with common items, and that's this little gnarly piece of code that might do with a few comments to make it easier to see what's going on. So let me write that. So this is this implements the simplification where if two or more adjacent alternatives start or end with the same item, we pull that item out and place the alternatives with a sequence common item and choice of the remaining choice of the alts or the remainder of the alts. We do this one item at a time and rely on the simplification called repeatedly. So if there's if this choice also has common items, it will be replaced by a similar thing, and then the resulting sequence will be simplified. A sequence that contains another sequence will just be smashed together into one sequence. But we do this for both the starting or the first or the start or the end. So this index would be, I guess, common index, or well, let's call it the index and the slice of the rest. These names might need to be longer. Something like that. I hope it's a bit easier to follow like this. The rest of it would basically be just explaining what the code does, and I hope the names make it clear. Now I see another subsequent simplification we have here is where we have an option of X and then a gather with an optional. So this gather will also match this X. So this alt can be removed. I hope that's visible from the case itself. Next up we have a case where there are two adjacent alternatives with a common last node, and that actually does the same thing as this big simplification here. So this will probably be a bit more efficient, but I wonder if we can get the same thing with just a case like that. And of course we need to do it for common first node and common last node. Did I make a typo? So it looks like when I run that, the diff is a bit different, and it makes things bigger. I wonder if that's just because of the ordering. So if we check the common first node first and then the common last node, yeah, then we also get something that's bigger than before. So this finally block here, or this optional finally block here, looks like it wasn't matched. Why not? Who knows? So I guess we can simplify this big algorithm with something like that. That's a shame. Need to leave this case in. Okay. So I hope that's a better comment. With that sort of done, I will go on to look through the documentation and see what basically go through wherever I'm right now in these compound statements and look where we can add more grammar. So I guess last time we ended with these type parameter lists. That's probably not right. That would be docs reference compound statements. And yeah, last time we ended with type parameter lists, which basically means we went through all of the compound statements documentation. So let's see, type parameters are comma separated lists of type parameters inside square brackets. This space here looks suspicious. Anyway, then the type parameter can be type I, type var tuple, or param spec, and basically they differ in the star or double store in front, and apparently in the actual grammar they can have this colon expression even in these two forms. Let's check that. Type parameter, it can be a name with an optional type param bound, which is colon expression. Then it can be a star name with an optional colon expression, or a star name with optional colon expression. So it, I mean, there's probably somebody added this to the grammar later and didn't update the documentation or something like that. So if we collapse it to this, I think it's readable enough. It also happens to be shorter. So let me remove the old production list. That's a note to myself that this is done. I hope Sphinx picks that up. Oh no, don't have the auto build running. But I would like to oh, is the double space everywhere? Yeah, double space is just probably Sphinx Sphinx artifact, so that's fine. Okay, so that would be compound statements, which means it's time to go to the simple statements. After that, it's expressions, and after that, it's looking through this to-do list that's piling up a bit, and then it might be time to send a pull request. So expressions. Expressions start with some syntax notes. I would like to add a note like this to all the pages. And so I'll skip that for now. And go on. So let's see. I guess we start here with the atoms. So atom and enclosure. I don't think enclosure is actually used in the documentation, but atom is. So let me open up the simple statement source and do the same. Oh, I was looking at its expressions. I want the simple statement, sorry. So the simple statement is here, and let's see if I can give it the same treatment I've been giving the compound statement. So that is, instead of production list, I want to add grammar snippet. Say it what to document automatically. And now this production list, I need to mark it with old so that it doesn't conflict with well, the simple statement doesn't conflict with the new definition that we're adding in, since the tool will add its documentation right inside this file. It'll define simple statements which would conflict. So instead of a nice little bunch of choices, the tool is inlining very aggressively, and not what we want. Now let's see how simple statement is defined in the grammar. Let's see what we have to work with. So simple statement has all of these: assignment, type, alias, star, expression, blah 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 blah, as rules that we don't really want to inline, but we want to document later. And then this pass, break, and continue, we probably already have them here, right? Pass, break, continue, they're just simple words. So what I want to do in this case is add these to a list of future top level rules. This is a special hack that the tool uses for now, so that it knows it doesn't want to inline these. No, not pass. And these should be documented later, when everything's said and done. For now we have a list of hacks. And that turns this into something very similar to what we had before. It has augmented assignment statement and annotated assignment statement separately. I guess that's just assignment in the new grammar. But yeah, this looks pretty good. It's even underlining some stuff that's documented with the same name in the existing documentation. That's great. But looks good. I think this is done. So let me remove the old one, and let's move on to expression statements. We don't have expression statements, do we? We just have assignment. So assignment in the new grammar is an actual assignment. Star expressions. What's star expressions? Oh, star expression can just be an expression. Okay. That's interesting. Well, we do have expression here. So what's an expression? An expression is a disjunction if else, or just a disjunction, or a lamp def. And it says here that expression statements are just start expression. Okay, so we have start expressions here, start expression here. So we might want to change the prose here a little bit, but here we need to just document the star expressions, I would say. Or maybe just link to star expressions defined somewhere else. I mean, it would be nice here if we were allowed to change the grammar and say that like insert an extra rule in here. So instead of star expressions, name this expression statement, and then say somewhere later that an expression statement is a start expression or something like that, like we have here. But that's probably for discussion after the initial pull request is sent. So let's leave that for now as it is and move on to assignment. So would have a grammar snippet with assignment. And let's see how that would work. Ooh, this is a long name. So assignment has some kind of assignment target, which I hope is its own rule in the grammar. Ah, no, it's okay. It's a name colon expression equals annotated right hand side. Right, so it got simplified in quotes a bit here. so assignment statement first has a name or some target in parentheses, or a single subscript attribute target, which is well, a dotted name, T primary I think is a dotted name, and it can end with a slicing here. So that's called, oh, it can be, it's called single target here. Maybe we don't want to inline single target, which we can tell the two like this. So single target can either be this big thing, or a name, or a single target in more parentheses. That's interesting. And maybe the single subscript attribute target should have its own section, so it's because it's quite long, and we might want to move these a little bit to the left. We can do that with another grammar snippet section that just has the thing we want here. So we have the target, then there's comma expression, that's the type annotation, and after the type annotation we have equals, and yield expression or star expression are that's called annotated right hand side. So maybe we want to document annotated right hand side separately as well. And another form of assignment is you have star targets equals, and you have multiple of those, and then so either multiple star or potentially multiple star targets with equals, or a single target with one of the augmented operators. And let's see how the augmented the augmented operators have their own rule, aug assign. So let's document that one separately as well, so this doesn't get that long. And now things are probably as simple as we can make them. Now this will of course need adjustment of the pros, because there's no attribute ref, subscription and slicing anymore. But the nice thing about that is this is all hidden in this T primary. And I think the T primary should be documented somewhere else. So we'll see how that goes. So how does this compare? So assignment statement here says that the target list is followed by an equals and a start expression or yield expression. There's no mention of this colon expression here. Target list is a comma separated list of targets, and a target is an identifier, blah blah blah, this single subscript after you target, I guess. Or it can be a star target, which we have star targets here. There's star targets which aren't documented yet, and they probably should be documented here. They might be in this list. Yeah, star targets. So let's remove those from this list and see. Oh, a star target is documented somewhere else. Okay. So let's continue. Let's leave this and see if we get star. Oh wait, star targets. Oh no, it's not documented somewhere else. We should document it explicitly here. Star targets. Put that here and remove it from the big list. What does that do? Because that's star targets, which can be star target or target with star atom. That Hello, Blaze.
Hey, good morning. Sorry I'm late.
No problem. Yeah, I started without you. Going through simple expressions, simple statements. So we have this here, which is almost the same as, well, let me see the actual current Python documentation, simple statements. So there's this big list here, and we have a slightly smaller big list that doesn't have as good names as the old one, but that's something we'd need to change in the grammar if we don't want to invent new rule names just for documentation, which we probably don't. Then we have expression statements, which is kind of the same. It would be nice to have expression statement as a rule here, and then somewhere in the expression section say that it's about this big thing like it says here, but that's probably something to do after the first pull request is merged. Anyway, then we have assignment statements. And the current docs have augmented assignment statements in a separate section, but the current grammar has assignment and augmented assignment like combined together because they are similar. And there's also an annotated assignment statement, so you can have target and then colon expression. And that is all mushed together in the current grammar, which we probably want to keep.
Okay.
But it makes things a bit harder. Maybe again it would be nice to replace this with named rule, but we want to see what we can what we can get out of the current grammar. So assignment here has its kind of targets, then a colon, expression, and then optionally an equals. So that's the annotated assignment. And as an option, we have the regular assignment, where you can have several targets separated by equals.
Yes.
Or you can have a single target with one of these operators. And you give it, well, a yield expression or star expression, which, well, let's see. Yeah, that's this thing. So this is, I mean, it could probably be documented in several sections, but this is understandable, I think. Now, a single target, this thing, is either a single subscript attribute target, horribly long name,
yeah,
which
exactly.
depends on T primary, which the old documentation also differs to another section. So it lists the grammar for what a target is, but then it says, you know, look there for more. So it's probably better to stick with this, where are we? T primary, to say what that is. So we have that. It can be a simple name, which probably would fit in this T primary as well. Or it can be a parenthesized single target, so you can have as many levels of parentheses as you want.
Okay. Yeah.
Now the annotated right hand side is yield expression or star expression. So this is actually an annotated right RHS, and I don't know why it's not used in the actual grammar. Annotated right. It's oh, it might have some extra decoration on top, right? Let's look at the grammar file itself. Oh, did I not copy this? Okay, for that. Here it is. It's long and ugly. Come on. So, yield expression or star expressions. And this is annotated right hand side. So this looks like, if I just put annotated right hand side here and here, Python might still work, and everything would be simpler in the grammar. We'd get annotated right hand side here as well. I don't know why it's not done that way, but again, changing the grammar is out of scope for now.
Yeah. I would imagine.
We'll get to it. So there's the annotated right hand side. The yield expr apparently got inlined in there. Oh, no it doesn't. So yield expr is somewhere down here. It should probably be documented on its own somewhere else, so I'll put it in the big list of things that should be documented down the line. So the stat, augmented assignment operators, there's just a lot of them. Star targets, that's one of these things. That's a comma separated list of star target. And what is a star target? Well, that's a star, and then another star target, or a target with star atom. So maybe we could simplify this. Oh, what is this?
Wow.
What the? Ah, so I don't think we can. I don't think we can remove this look ahead. So this would be. So you can say star A equals some list. And oh, a start assignment target must be a list tuple. Like that. And we'll put this ellipsis in the B, and the rest, which is nothing, in this A. I probably should be using numbers or something when doing a demo like this. Okay. But I cannot have another star here. That's invalid syntax because of this look ahead. That's why is it done like that? Why does it say star target here and not target with star atom? Oh, because it needs a different action for building the AST, I guess. Ah. Well, I'll put that in the to-do because we already have something about look-aheads. So for star target, we might need to show the negative look-ahead. But yeah, so I guess this is all we can do right now. Then we have target with star atom, which has this has this T primary, so that would be a dotted name with perhaps slices. I don't know if T primary already includes slicings. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why is that repeated? I have no idea. T primary. Oh, it must end with dot name or slices, maybe? What is T primary?
One or the other, yeah.
Oh, it cannot have function calls at the end. Right, that's it. So you can do, for example, call a function and then on the result set an attribute. You can do that syntactically.
Wow.
But you cannot assign to a function call. That's a syntax error. Right? So T primary is this dot attribute access slices generator expression, well, function calls. This is both function calls. But if you want to assign to that, it needs to end with either attribute access or the square brackets, or it can be just a simple name.
Oh, I see.
Right.
So like the walrus operator would only be for would be
Yeah.
not for functions, but for
So
variables.
we're not really getting into the walrus operator here, but you can't assign to a function call.
Right.
You can assign to an attribute on an object that was returned from a function. I wonder if T primary needs to be in expressions. It's probably useful in expressions. But okay, this makes sense. So it can also be just a name, or it can also be this giant mess. What is that about? That's a star atom. Okay, so target with star atom can have a star atom, and let's not inline that. Okay, star atom then is either name or in parentheses you have either another target with star atom, so this thing, or one of these that is either followed by a comma or by more of them and an optional comma. Wow. I feel like something could be simplified here. So let's see how that's defined. Star atom. This is called star target's tuple sequence. And that's star target either followed by a comma or this thing. And this looks like a gather. I don't know why it wasn't simplified as a gather. Let's see. We have sequence, and when we simplify, there's E1 and 0 or more S E2. It should be exactly this. Then we should turn that into a gather, but that didn't happen for some reason. Probably because of the order of simplifications here. So what happened here is that this first got merged into well, the star target here first got merged, so we got a choice between this or that after the star target, and then we couldn't get this simplification back. Which is unfortunate, and again I would love to have a special syntax for a gather, or this is actually a gather followed by an optional comma, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
We want a simplification rule for that. So what would that be? So that would be an expression followed by a choice that includes a sequence.
Trailing. Oh, a sequence. Okay.
Of a separator and that expression oh, it's not a sequence, it's a 0 or more of that sequence. But it is a sequence that has that 0 or more, and then an optional with that separator. And this is getting very complicated, isn't it? And in that choice there, we also have the separator again. And now E1 needs to match E2, and S1 needs to match S2 and S3. And, well, we replaced all of that with a gather. Let's see. That worked? No, it didn't. Yeah, so one way to so trying to get this to work would be one way. Probably need to rewrite the whole thing again if I want to try that. Another way is to probably simplify, start find some way where this happens before merging things into the choices. So let's see.
Do we need a case for the beginning of things?
No, I would probably want to simplify sequences in choices before this match. But let's see what that changes. So there's the current diff, which looks reasonable. Start looking at simple statements. And I will see what happens if I add another match, and if I have a sequence, I replace that item with oh no, I already have done that. I'm simplifying the item here. So I'm first simplifying the items. Do I need to do this multiple times? Do I need to do the iteration in here? First, no, that didn't change anything. Huh. Huh, huh, huh. This is what we should get in here. Well, I guess it's time for some debug prints. I already have a bunch of those, so let's get rid of that. But there's too many of these, and I want to get the debug output only for start targets. Well, let's say for something that has a start target in it. There's still a bunch of that, but ooh, there's a lot of start targets. I also want commas. I wonder if this would be easier with some kind of debugger, but I'm not sure. I would still somehow need to specify when I want to break. I don't see a good way to do that.
Hmm.
Oh, this. And maybe we want the formatted here just to make it.
What would you want to maybe shove it into some sort of a buffer you could search?
Well, that's here. I can search this.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess I meant something that would be collapse and expand, but yeah.
So yeah, we got to simplifying so the first thing here is simplifying this. So we have a non-terminal followed by a 0 or more, blah blah blah, and an optional. And we're looking at the first two things in that subsequence. And now it's the first match here, so that's non-terminal, blah blah, 0 or more, with a sequence of string, and again non-terminal, So why does this not match? Oh, these prints are for everything. So this is when we want to debug. This would be easier with a debugger. So yeah, this matched. Okay. This matched. So these two things should be replaced by a gather, but they're not. Why? Huh. Well, I did get this gather thing. Did get to this gather, but that gather didn't make it all the way here. Well, let's do one thing. Let's tell this to document start targets tuple sec separately, which didn't change anything. And then I wonder, maybe it would be good to invest in some debug tooling again. So I could run this in some kind of debugger.
Snoop might have something for this. Sorry?
Snoop might have something to this. So the thing I want is to only turn on debugging when I'm processing start targets tuple-sec. So Snoop. Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe you pass it a filter or something, and then it displays the part that you want.
This looked like a blink. No. Whoops.
Output configuration.
Yeah, except the link doesn't work.
Let's go to the manual, the actual, yeah, the docs. There's a page for.
Oh, it's a link here. Okay. Yeah, this is for Snoop install. Output configuration. Do I want some kind of pause? Well, I don't know.
Oh, there's a REPL. There's a sample REPL at FutureCoder. If you want to just try to, yeah, I don't know. That might be.
Well,
I wonder if we could drop our code in there.
well, I could just import Snoop here, right?
Yeah.
What to do then? I don't have Snoop.
Oh, we have pip install Snoop?
Yeah, probably. But the thing is, I'm quite happy with this print here, but I only want to run it when I'm processing this. So the thing I want to do is probably in here, where I'm simplifying things. Here. So if rule name is whatever this was, start target SQL sec, then I want to start debug, and when I'm here, like for all the other rules, I don't want to debug, right? And I don't see a way to tell Snoop to do that. Just as a Snoop decorator, which I would really want to use in that simplify function down there, but it would only run when this debug was enabled in here. See what I mean?
Oh, you can do a here. I think you do the watch show values of arbitrary expressions by specifying them as string. So you could do a watch and then a filter. If that makes sense.
No, I don't think.
I'll paste it in the chat. Basically, they say. Oh yeah, you saw that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
But basically, what I want is this. Turn debugging on here, and turn it off here. Right. The beginning. Turn it to false, and then have a debug function. Whoop. Ah, my keyboard's lucky.
Oh, I see. So Snoop has a modified pretty print.
Yes, but I only want to run it when debug is enabled.
Right. Okay.
Right. So like this. So instead of this, the print up there, I could use Snoop. But I would still need to do this dance with the locals. With the global. So this is all the simplifications for the star target thing.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing else. And maybe now I can do it in where's my function for simplifying? Simplify node here. Right, so there's last node and node, and I say simplified node into simplified last node into node. Maybe I want to format both. Right, so it simplified this choice into a sequence, and that removed the choice. That removed the possibility for going for the gather. Then it simplified that to this. This looks exactly the same. There's probably some extra option or something like that. And then it simplified this thing to itself, so the loop ended. And I wonder if now is the time to have a simplify method that does one iteration of the simplification, and a simplify function that does multiple simplifications of it. Right, so simplify would be how you define this, but then every time it would be called, you would call simplify node. Like that. Oops. Which might change things up a bit, but it also would give us this nice debug output for every simplification that goes on. So this simplify doesn't call any simplify by itself. And there's a lot of simplification. Debug output now, and that's mostly because this debug is called even if the node matches what was simplified. So let's only do that if something got simplified, and we probably need to display the whole structure here, so not format. So a choice with comma and a non-terminal got replaced. So oh, this was a choice with one item in it, so it got replaced with only that item. Then this one or more with the choice got replaced with one or more.
What?
Oh, this is also a choice with one item in it. Right, there is some kind of sequence with one item in it which got replaced with that one item. Then again, there's a choice with a sequence with one thing in it. This is just doing very simple steps, isn't it? Do we at any time do have that sequence? Let's do the format as well, so we can see what we're looking at. Oh, here we go. Start target, comma, start target, optional, comma, got simplified to the same thing. Okay, so how does that look? So maybe we can do this dump here. What's this called? Debug enabled. You do have dump methods on everything, right? Oh, dump tree. Ah, dump tree. Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
That's nice.
And I don't know if I would be able to teach Snoop how to do that. So, there's a sequence of start target and one or more. And then the one or more has a choice with a sequence. There's this choice with one thing in it, and that prevents. Oh wait, so this is simplified to a sequence with a start target, then one or more. Huh. So this is good. This is a good simplification. But I guess it should go on. Start target and then one or more sequence of comma start target should get picked up by simplify again. Why does this not simplify further? So let's see. Of the simplify subsequence, let's put a little match in here. And see if that ever... Oh, that doesn't happen now. So it should have matched here. Oh, this is 0 or more, and this is 1 or more. Ah, I get it now. Okay, that little detail explains it. That little detail explains it.
Oh, it's a tuple sequence?
No, so this is the case where you do have at least one comma.
I see.
But a gather would have a star here. So gather includes the the case where you would only have star target here.
Okay.
But star target's tuple sequence is that sequence. So you can have target with star atom. Which somehow includes star target. But this thing needs to have a comma in it. So that's why we cannot simplify it into a gather. Right. So to simplify this would be 1 or more, and then it would need the expression in here and the separator, and then a gather like this. That might actually work, right? Okay. That's interesting. Let's turn off this case again. Start target tuple sequence. Right, I see what this did. Okay. So we started with this, then it got simplified. Well, there's a plus in here, so we can. So that means you have to have these two, and then 0 or more of that. You follow?
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now this is a gather, so a comma separated sequence of start targets. So
sequence.
I guess this is the syntax we have for gather, right?
Yeah.
But now that means this whole choice gets simplified into you know, the start target being common, so this ends up being optional. Right? And I think we can simplify that should be able to simplify that back into this. Right, so you have something followed by a separator, and then optionally this gather, which is again something followed by something separated by commas, and then there's the optional comma at the end. Does that make sense?
I think so.
I mean, this is.
I think.
Let's see how it looks in the actual grammar. I think there's like a trick. For efficiency maybe, or something like that. Why does
it scans a little bit nicely?
Why does it do this? Oh, there's a difference between a singleton sequence and a non-singleton sequence. Okay. Anyway, so this got simplified into that. And let's see.
I'll be right back. I have a timer going off.
What I was missing. Aha, there needs to be a comma at the end? No.
Okay.
There needs to be at least one comma in here. That's... That's
the
the reason
non-singleton.
this is complicated, I think. Yeah. There needs to be a comma in this. So it can, yeah, this does scan a bit nicer, right? So it can be a single thing with a trailing comma, or it can be it's not really a gather. That needs to have a comma in it. Right, so maybe in this case we should be able to tell the tool to keep the two cases here and not simplify them. I think we added something like that to the to-do already. So for start target tuple sequence, we might want to keep three separate alternatives, well, two separate alternatives here. But the thing is, neither of these tells you like the important thing, right? It's a comma separated list of star targets with an optional trailing comma, but it needs to have at least one comma in it. And that is, I mean, if that is a detail you need to know, and that would probably be best documented in prose. Like, say, this is the formal grammar, but right behind it there's a paragraph telling you what that actually means.
Yeah.
Because it's true that this one scans a bit better, but honestly this isn't too bad.
Right.
Neither is evident at first glance, as evidenced by me spending half an hour teasing this apart.
Yeah.
I'm missing this.
So
this is a
maybe
plus and not a star. Yeah, so at this point I think I got everything I want for this pass, which is that maybe the tool needs an option where the alternatives are kept and not simplified, and that changing the prose as well as changing the grammar is for after the first pull request. So I think I got as far as I wanted this. It's quite complicated. It's quite a lot more complicated than this. We probably want to have the assignment teased out, because the reason it's more complicated is we have an augmented assignment statements as a separate section. Right, so that would take care of like this thing and most of that.
Should we have a prose section for star targets and star atoms?
Probably.
Is that kind of what you're thinking? Okay.
Yeah. So where do star targets come in play? In here. We should probably say star targets are a bit complicated.
Yeah. We could have a section like after the augmented assignments, block of prose.
Yeah. So let's try to do that section. So what would we need in that section? Start with star targets, right? So star targets, star atoms, star target tuple sequence. Instead of here, like put it in a separate section here. the aug assign would only want to go in a separate section. But yeah, we'd have this, and then we'd say about these star targets. Well, that's a bit more complicated. There can be all of that. On the other hand, we do have a separate section for annotated assignment statements currently, and that
we have augmented, annotated, and I guess what, starred?
I probably want a special star one, but
Yeah.
annotated is just this comma expression here, so I wouldn't make that its own section.
Okay.
Or at least not its own section with its grammar. Like maybe say, if there's a colon expression in whatever we have up here, then these are the semantics. Okay, so aug assign should go into augmented assignment. Yeah, the existing docs are structured very in a very different way than the actual grammar, which might make them easier to read. But it also makes it harder to check if they're actually correct. Okay, well, as I said, this is probably as far as I want to go in here. I have 3 separate sections here, which need to be interspersed with the prose. Then we have augmented assignment statements, which probably need to be merged with this one, or at least maybe we could have like a section with not as much grammar. I mean, well, this is not as much grammar, so maybe that's fine. And then annotated ones, we wouldn't just not have the grammar there at all and say, if there's a colon, this is what it means. Oh, sounds reasonable for me. Let's go on. The purpose here is to collect use cases of what the tool should do. And here I think, yeah, I don't have any more items to put in the to-do list. Let's go for the assert statement. So that's we have assert stmt. Yep. So it's the same thing as here. search statements. So instead of production list, we should have the grammar snippet and assert stmt. This is now old grammar. And I like this. It's exactly the same except for the chase of quotes.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, nothing to do
Why
here.
is it in blue? Okay.
Excuse me?
No, I noticed that there were links. The first instance has the links and the second one doesn't.
Oh, that's because I changed this to Python grammar old. If
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't have this old, it would use the same group as before. So it would
I
make
see.
this expression, but it would also have a double definition of a search statement, so Sphinx would raise an error. Right, so I'm moving all of that into its own namespace where expression is not defined.
Cool.
So
I see.
let's move on. The pass statement. Now the nice thing about the pass statement is that it doesn't really have a rule in the new grammar. So
Right.
the thing to do for here is either to introduce a rule into the new grammar. It's probably the ideal thing to do if we care about the docs, or just remove the grammar from here. And yeah, it's the same for break.
Pass, break, and continue exactly are the same.
Yeah.
Pass, break, and continue.
Just single words with nothing extra on top. Return can be a single word, but it could also have an expression, but those two can't have anything extra added. Alright, that brings us to the delete statement, and I hope del stmt is oh yeah, it's the same rule name. So let's find it here. Oh, that's already changed. I did that beforehand. So let's look how that's in the old grammar. Oh, and the old grammar is just del and target list. But in the new grammar it's del and del targets, because the delete statement has a special syntax for its targets. And I don't quite know what the difference is between del targets and a normal target list. Target list. Oh, it's might be the star. Yeah, so this can have a star, so you could do something like del star a, which gives you a syntax error, cannot delete starred.
Okay.
And cannot delete starred
That sounds prudent.
I wonder if that thing is actually... Oh, there's T primary in here. Yeah, no, I guess T primary doesn't include stars. Let's see. Right, T primary doesn't include stars. So yeah, the actual grammar is a bit more complicated, but not that much. So del targets is a comma-separated list of deletion targets, and I wonder if that needs to be expanded. Oh, it does, because it appears in here as well. And a deletion target then is some primary followed by attribute access or square brackets. We saw that before, and I don't know if yeah, it's repeated here in the grammar, so we can't merge it with the above. And a del target can be a name or a list of del targets in parentheses, or del targets in square brackets. So interesting. This one can have a single target, this one cannot have a single target. What is huh. What? So you can have delete AB. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's a name error, so syntactically this is right. And you can put those in square brackets, but you cannot have just, oh, you can have just one. What magic is this? Oh, maybe it's just an optimization. Comma? There's a single one that should be handled by this rule as well. But it would be...
Oh, so it's basically the second line. It's the del targets without comma. It's just one.
Yeah, there's just one
item.
And this is several separated by commas, which also includes just one. So this is just a simple, just an optimization, right? The parser will look at this one first, and if that matches, we'll look at the other ones, and it's probably easier to process this one. But if it doesn't match, then it goes on to the more complicated rules. So for that, I would like to have in the grammar a way to exclude something from the documentation. So del item, like say that this is there just for optimization.
Right.
And yeah, then we could not show it. So do we have that? shouldn't be wordsmithing notes to myself. Yeah, that's good for here. I wonder why this del target didn't end up in one choice. What's up with that? So this del T atom is a choice, but apparently it didn't get exploded into into individual lines. Let's do a verbose run. Or debug run. Maybe I just want to run that once. So the del statement, there's a choice, and that choice includes a choice as one of its items, which is very far from ideal. Where do we have that? So there's a choice, and oh, we don't have we don't have a case here for a nested choice. Yeah, that's better. Right, so no more nested choices. And yeah, this looks pretty good now. On to the next one. So, this is the wrong file. The return statement. I hope it's also named return statement in the new grammar. Yep, looks like it is. And instead of expression list, we have star expressions, which, I mean, if it is a better name, we should probably rename it in the grammar. Otherwise, it looks the same, so that's good. On to the yield statement. Hopefully, it's still named yield stmt. And the yield statement is equivalent to a yield expression. The yield statement can be used to omit the parentheses that would otherwise be required in the yield expression, but otherwise it's the same thing. So yeah, it's the same thing in the new grammar as well. It's nice.
Yeah.
Special kind of statement just to omit parentheses. Don't you love Python? That's unlike the C language, which is optimized for implementation of the compiler in assembly.
Right.
So raise. Oh, this needs to be marked with old star. And I can see just in the source that it generated exactly the same thing as before, but Sphinx doesn't like it. Ah, there it is. Exactly the same thing, except it has the proper quotes now. So that's good. Next up is break. Let's see here. Break again is a single word. Continue is a single word, the same as pass. So the real next step is import, and that's a beast. So let's see what happens there. Oh, it's not as gnarly as I thought it would be. It's just an extremely long line here. So the import statement can be import and then a comma separated list of dotted names with this as another name annotation. So that's simpler. That's simple. What's not simple is this from optional any number of dots, dotted name, or just the dots.
We couldn't just get away with saying from import statement.
Yeah, so this is interesting. You can have 0 or more dots and then a dotted name, or you can have 1 or more dots without dotted names. So you either need a name or the dots. And 3 dots on its own is a token. Right, so
it's an ellipsis, right?
It is an ellipsis.
Okay.
So if I give the tokenized module a dot, it'll say, "Oh, that's an operator." The dot, just for the tokens. 2 dots is 2 operators. 2 dots space 2 dots space 2 dots. Well, that's 6 dot operators. But as soon as there's a 3 dot, well, that's an ellipsis operator. And you can have an ellipsis operator and 2 more dots. Let's put that at the end. Right, and that's ellipsis and 2 separate dots.
Okay. Wow.
And like that, that's 2 sets of 3 dots and then 1 more, right? So in the syntax, since this is a separate token, they're just treated the same. And I would love to see how that's expressed in the actual grammar. Do they have some kind of shortcut? Oh, it's either an import name or an import from. Okay. Import name is import dotted as names. And dotted as names I don't think appears anywhere else. And import from has these 2 cases that we just saw. So it might be good to use these 2 names, import name and import from. Just to make it a little bit more breathable, more readable. Is that more readable? Not really, right?
Not really.
Not really, yeah.
Because you have to do the mental. It's more cognitive load, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, this is better. And this might be formatted better. So we could probably teach the tool to format it like, you know, from, and then it can be either this or that, and there's import, and okay, let's see, import from targets. Maybe that's what we don't want to inline. And maybe this or this could get its own role names. Who knows? But import from targets is what you have after the import here. And that includes an import from as names, which is almost the same as here, except here we have dotted name and here we have just individual names. And you can have that in parentheses followed by an optional comma. You can also import star. Oh, so you cannot do like from something import A, B, and everything. Oh, that's nice. And just have that. So this is valid syntactically, but you can't do that. That's, well, learned something today. Okay, so this is probably as good as we can make it. Now the old docs list several variants, so it's import module as something, comma module as something. That's like the base case here, which I think reads much better. Like dotted name module is probably a little bit better as a name than dotted name, but we can rename that in the grammar. You can have from relative module. Relative module, that's a nice name for this part.
Oh yeah.
Import identifier as identifier, comma identifier as an identifier, blah blah blah. The same thing with this whole part in parentheses with an optional comma. I think this import from targets is with the import from names, like this part and its own rule, that's much better. Or you can have the star here. Well, that's, yeah. So the only thing to change here probably is to make a rule for module, but that would need to be in the grammar itself. And relative module is the same as dotted name. No, it's it's this thing. Oh. Looks good. And I'm noticing I'm out of time for today. So
okay. Commit.
Let's leave it at that. I will commit, but I probably want to get rid of some of the debug statements here.
Oh right, yeah.
Never led anywhere. And also, I have another thing called debug, so let's Let's write that again whenever I need it again. This debug was already there. This thing might be useful, so let's just comment it out. So, we went through the diff and the grammar. What changed? The main thing that changed was simplifying, doing the simplification loop inside the simplify methods, and also this sub choice. So let me do that as two separate commits, which I could do with git add -p or just with git GUI opened on some other screen. So this is one. So I want to commit this as simplify nested choice. And then there's a few comments, and then the simplify node. Everything there. Right. Up on my GitHub. Thanks for your attention today, and see you next week.
Oh, my pleasure. Great.